second. Festivals don't pay performers? The audacity. Ugh. What up, Flow fam? Welcome back to my channel. My name's Luminous, and this is Kimmy, my kitty cat. She wants attention right now, so we're giving it to her. But today we are jumping into something a little controversial, and that is festivals paying performers, which shouldn't be that controversial, but it is. I'm sure there are going to be a lot of disgruntled people. So you know what would really help me out with this video is if you give it a like and maybe leave a nice comment, because I'm sure I'm gonna get some not nice comments. So this topic is a thing that, makes its rounds around the floor arts community, I would say probably at least once a year. At least, if not multiple times a year. Because, festivals don't pay very well, or at all. And we're gonna talk about it. But of course, before we jump into things, make sure to subscribe to my channel, give this video a like, leave me a comment, and don't forget to hit those notification bells. That way you get notified when I post new content. And we also have the wizards of the channel. And the wizards of the channel are Flow Toys, Astro Hoops, Matrix Fire, Safety, Fun Emotion Toys, Pyrotera Light Toys, Flow on Fire, and Flow Fests. Mwah. Much love to y'all. And of course, this channel is brought to you by the most amazing people in my life, my Patreon supporters. And if you want to become a Patreon supporter, you can head on over to my Patreon, where you can become a member, or you can head on over to my website, luxluminous.com, where I have lots of fun flow arts related clothing, and every single bit of money raised goes directly into funding this channel. So that way I can keep bringing you more content. Okay, fam, let's go ahead and jump into it. Okay, so today I am talking about big music festivals, the ones that, rake in the dough. So if you are a festival director for one of these big festivals, I don't know why you're watching me, but I'm glad you're here. Take note, I've got some good notes that'll help you and everybody else. And then everybody is happy and copacetic and freaking kumbaya. And we want that. We want to work together. I'm not here to bash festivals. I'm not here to bash performers. That is not my intention. My intention is to help people out, because that's what I love to do. I love to help. If you know me, you've been around the channel, it's what I do. If you are like me and you have applied to perform at any of these festivals, sometimes you get a letter back stating that they aren't going to pay you, but they're going to give you exposure. Yes. Okay, so I want to talk about exposure. Being a brand new performer, you kind of do need a little exposure. I'm sorry, I know it's super controversial to say that, but you do need a couple in there. You need to be able to make a portfolio. And if you're going out there, never have done a gig, you just started spinning a couple months ago and you're asking for thousands of dollars to perform, it's not gonna happen. I'm sorry, my friends. You do need to put a couple in the books. And I'm not saying to go years of doing gigs for exposure. Don't do that. Do 3 gigs for exposure, get something, get photos, get video, get anything that you can, so that way you're creating a portfolio, so that way you can actually submit that to gigs that are going to pay you. There is a little bit of a grind, but the issue with people taking low-paying gigs over and over and over and over again is that it is hurting the rest of the industry severely. And then all these other festivals think that they could just pay people either nothing or such a small amount and get away with it. And that is not okay. Not cool. So there is a big difference between actual exposure and exposure. And today I'm gonna help you kind of suss out what is actually going to help you versus them just, getting free performers, because that's what a lot of these events do. So when you get that letter back saying that they're going to pay you an exposure, and sometimes, shoot, they'll even throw in some amenities. So what does that look like? Good exposure and good amenities. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm going to leave a link in the description down below to a Google Drive doc that is a checklist of all these things that I'm about to say. Does this festival check off this box? And if there's enough boxes where you're okay, this is good enough for me to trade performance for what they're offering. And if they're not offering you anything, honey. Okay, so things that you're gonna wanna look for like actual good exposure. Are they taking photos of you? Can you use the photos? Can their photographer give you those photos? Are you able to use them as promo? Can you bring your own photographer? Are they giving you lodging? Are they feeding you? Do you get enough breaks? Are they giving you water? Are you gonna be on a festival flyer? Are they gonna do promo for you on their website? Can you take video? Can you use the video? Like, a big question you wanna ask them is, any promo that is taken, can you use it for your own purposes? That is a huge question that you have to be asking, because you do not wanna get slapped with a copyright anything, or a lawsuit, or, you know, angry photographers. They don't like that. No one likes that. So if I was to be performing on the main stage of EDC and I'm getting photos of me up on stage with like these super famous DJs, that is some dang good exposure. That is something that you can put in the books and be able to take that home and be like, this is actually worth something. But if they are not hitting most of those checks on that list, that is not real exposure. They're exploiting you, and that is not okay. Or even if they pay you like, you know, a very small dollar amount, get people to check off things on that list. Seriously. You know, if they're offering you $150 to come out and spend for an entire freaking weekend, they better sweeten that deal. You know, I better be like in a nice lodge and maybe some air conditioning, I don't know, a green room. Because if you're going to these festivals and you're doing all this stuff, you're choreographing, you have to bring fire equipment, you have to bring your own safeties, you have to bring your own costumes. Like that adds up. And whatever they are offering needs to equal. If not in accommodations, it needs to be equal in pay. So I have a word for our festival directors. If you cannot budget to have performers or accommodate them in such a way that is going to equal the amount of work they're going to do for you, perhaps don't have them. I know this might be a little controversial too, but it's okay not to have professional performers. You could just like incentivize people spinning, because if there's music, we will come. It's not a big thing, but they won't be spinning for an audience, they'll be spinning for themselves. But if what you want is performers to come, you know, have a fire circle, but you're gonna have to pay to have somebody man the fire circle. You have to pay for fuel. You have to, like, you know, make sure that there are safeties and fire safety equipment. So there is still a cost to it. But if you have a fire circle at a festival, we will come and we'll just spin because we enjoy doing it. It's not for the audience, it's for ourselves, and it's not for you. But, you know, we'll be there, we'll spin the things, because if you're not willing to pay us, I mean, that's about what I could offer. Another thing you could do is have flow arts vendors, because anywhere you have a flow arts vendor, there's usually a crowd of flow artists doing their thing. You could have pictures of flow artists on your social media, on your website, all kinds of different things to incentivize people to come and spin. You're just not hiring performers and wasting their time with like the tiny bit of money you have or the exposure that you're giving them if you're not really giving them anything. You know, if you want spinners, make a space that it's like safe to spin. I know some festivals won't let props in, and I think that's some bull crap right there, honestly. So cut that out immediately. And if you really want performers, budget for them. You know, we don't cost nearly as much as your insanely expensive DJs and whatnot. It doesn't take that much to fund, you know, a small troupe to come out and like do the thing, comparatively. I will say it is a lot of money, but comparatively, what do you actually value in your festival? Like, where are your priorities? Like, are you trying to create this super magical atmosphere? If so, you gotta invest in that atmosphere. You know, we gotta eat. Eating's cool. Paying rent is awesome. Being an artist is amazing, but we need other artists and festivals and events like you to help us do that. Flow artists put years and years and years of work into their acts and what they do. I've got tricks that I've trained for years, like single tricks that I have trained for years. And to not get paid for all that hard work, I'm not gonna take that gig. Sorry. I remember a couple years ago, there was this band, musical act. I'm not gonna say who it was, but some of you are gonna know immediately as I tell this story. But one of my friends got accepted to perform for this band. It's super awesome. Heck yeah. The band has a long history of working with flow artists. Like, spot on, let's go, let's do it. They get a letter back stating that they need to choreograph a piece, and not to the music that the band is performing. They would perform before the band goes on, and they would have to choreograph a piece. They could not take photos. Their photographer would not take photos of them. Like, there was no real exposure beyond just like getting up on stage, doing a quick thing. The band wasn't even on there. They're basically just a warm-up act. And they asked for all this for like no pay. Like, are you freaking kidding me? At least like let me take video, at least let me take some photos. You know, if you're gonna actually do things for exposure, actually give people exposure, like real exposure. Like, real exposure can go a long way. You can get your name out there and be like, oh, you know, I've worked with so-and-so, here's the proof. Like, that's gonna get you some more gigs. That's gonna put money in your pocket. If you really care about helping other performers like move forward with their careers, like, this is the simplest thing. Just take some photos of them. Why was that a hard ask? Or letting us take our own photos, like, hey, you know, I'll bring my own photographer. Is that cool? Give me a +1. Like, your photographer doesn't have to do a dang thing. Let mine do the work. And no? Oh, okay. They did end up apologizing. There was like a whole thing. So the moral of this video is, if you're a brand new performer and you are looking to do things for exposure, make sure you're actually getting exposure and you're not undercutting other people in the industry. That is huge. You put that time in, you deserve something, okay? And festivals. If you can't pay performers, don't have them. Well, friends, I hope you enjoyed this video. A little bit of a rant. You know what really grinds my gears? This shit. If you're new or lurking, welcome to the Wand Life. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you have any questions at all, always leave a comment down below and I will help you out. See you all on the wand side.